What's the old adage? Don't count your chickens before the eggs hatch. Well, so the question I posed to you all a couple weeks ago of should we hunt the farm pond or not for the October split, because we had a couple dozen wood ducks out here and I was debating whether or not to go ahead and shoot it up or not, might have answered itself. I'm out here checking on it first week of October. My cell camera has not been reporting any pictures, and I went from having consistently 2 dozen wood ducks out here to now practically nothing. So got to figure out what's going on out here. The pond looks exactly how I was hoping it would look. I've not been out here in about a week and a half, and the smartweed is just full and lush. We got a bunch of it seeding out. That's all the white seeds you can see here on the far side. There's a ton of volunteer smartweed in here, which is great, because that seed's gonna harden here the next few weeks, and that'll last well on into the season. A lot of the Japanese millet is still hanging on. It's very, very dry, toasty. It has long since been done and mature, and a lot of it's on the ground down here, just waiting for water to come back on it. So the birds and critters haven't even hardly touched it yet. There should still be plenty of seed. What I have noticed though, anything that's standing appears to be stripped. And I think that's your songbirds coming in here. So this is all the barnyard grass completely stripped off here. This is about half stripped. I think that's the songbirds working hard on it. You can tell how much of a drought we're in because the pond level continues to drop and drop and drop and drop. We're really gonna need some heavy rainfall. I hope we get a good tropical storm. Doesn't flood anybody, of course, but I really need a tropical storm level event, I think, to bump this pond even close to being huntable for October, because this pool of water is getting smaller and smaller. Not only do we need a tropical storm level event to get that pond filled, we also need to finish this little project right here. We're actually going to go drop in a culvert pipe at the upper end of this pond to help divert some more water in here to hopefully get it filled up in time for duck season. Actually did a water meal treatment out here. If you recall, earlier in the season, this was bright green covered. That is actually water meal. Looks like really tiny green grits if you hold it in your hand. And part of my deal with this landowner for being able to manage and work on this property is I told him I would help get the water meal cleaned up. And that one treatment I did a couple weeks ago really smoked it in this lower end. I'm going to go ahead and pull this camera because it's not working. I can see a ton of heron tracks and critter tracks. And there were some egrets out here, so I just know something's walking in front of this camera. So for there to be 0 pictures in the last week would be really odd. I'm just gonna pull the whole thing out. I put brand new batteries in it a week ago, or 10 days ago or so I know it's not a battery issue. While we're out here, might as well check on our rice, see if we've got any seed coming on yet. About 10 days or so ago, we did not have any seed. And there we go. We got rice seed. And it feels hard inside as well. I don't think we're gonna have hollow shells here either. This one right here does look hollow, and that plant itself looks kind of goofy. So this is what people talk about when they talk about the hollow shells and the nutrient deficiencies. That very well could have been a candidate here, because this is already just hollowed out, browned out, looks like junk. This is what we want to see, the really nice, bright green, hard rice heads. So I do think we're gonna have a little bit of rice. Here's some more right here. I do think we're going to have us a little bit of rice up here in this upper end. And you never know, the songbirds and critters may really start stripping all this millet and barnyard grass, and all we're left with is this late onset rice. So that really supports why it's beneficial to have multiple types of crop out here. That way everything doesn't get eat out at once. If we had just planted millet in here, then we wouldn't have this rice onsetting later, when it's going to be much more beneficial to migration and birds when you can actually hunt them, because we're still almost a month out from hunting season. Now this is very interesting. This is duck potato. This is a preferred food by waterfowl. I did not plant it in here, and the fact that it's growing in this really shallow pool is interesting, because when this pond was full, that only would grow in up to like 6 to 8 inches of water, which will be along the perimeter. So I'm wondering if some of those wood ducks or herons or whatever's coming in here might have actually brought this in here, because there's also some pondweed in here as well. So very interesting. There's pondweed and duck potato growing in these little micro pools that otherwise would be under 4 feet of water when this pond was full. So what's so special about duck potato? Well, the hint's in the name. The ducks love to eat. They eat the foliage off of it, but it also has these little nuts and tubers that it grows on it that the ducks also love to eat. That is what you call an emergent plant. It is not a submergent plant like this pondweed is, but it's not submergent, it's emergent. It comes up out of the ground, and it's not floating like the water meal is. That's the green grit water meal I was talking about. that floats on the surface. So any emergent plant for waterfowl most times is very water level dependent. It cannot be sitting out here in 3-4 feet of water. It wants this water level that's at least 8 inches or less. American pondweed, ducks love this. So the dead giveaway for me was this little floating leaflet right here. You can see that little floating leaf. Ducks love this as well. It too has these little nuts. I call them nuts. You can barely see them on here. Little nuts and nodules on here, but they also actually eat the vegetation itself. So we've got a full-on salad in the frame right here. We've got Japanese millet, we've got rice, duck potato, pondweed, and I'm sure at the end of the day they would probably skim and eat that watermeal too. So I don't know where the ducks went. Similar thing happened last year. We saw them in here early season, and by the time it was time to start muzzle loading, Dad would only see about a dozen of them, and even those kind of trickled out and disappeared. So kind of got a repeat of last year, except it got a little more exciting this year because we had twice as many birds. My hypothesis is that small pond of water out there is 360'd by really heavy vegetation and growth. All of our millet, our barnyard grass, some rice. I'm wondering if predators are hiding in that grass and snatching ducks, and they've harassed them enough where they've just up and left. Coyote, bobcat, anything could hide in there, and that water level is really shallow, and they could pounce out there. It would only take doing that 1 or 2 times before the ducks will say, nope, I'm out of here. Let me know your thoughts on why in the central part of North Carolina, wood ducks would just up and leave a property they've been at all summer. Typically, if you've got wood ducks in August, you've got them in September, and you've got them in October here. They don't seem to really leave or migrate, but who knows? Maybe they did, but I'm betting they got harassed too much, and they said, I'm out of here. Been wanting to do this for a while now. There's a nest in here. I think I can hit them from out here without having to open that door. Sorry guys, no room in the inn. Oh yeah, not happy. Going ahead and getting ahead of our spring wood duck box cleaning. There's another one. Gotcha, you rascals. I'll get all this pesticide cleaned out of here next spring before the wood duck hatch for sure. Just want to get them knocked out of the way. Quick update, just showing you guys what we've got going on out here, just checking in on it, showing you all the aquatic weeds we've got growing up here at the upper end, showing you the watermeal treatment, and pulling that camera, see if we can figure out what's going on. But until next time, as always, thank you guys for watching. God bless, take care.